Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again. Welcome also to the press conference after the Euro Summit. I give the floor, without any delay, to the President of the European Council, Mr. Herman Van Rompuy.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Since 2 years, we have taken major steps to overcome the crisis, not least the 21st of July of this year. However, the immediate economic challenges are so serious that we must do more, and all leaders agree to that. We are determined to take all necessary measures and actions needed to ensure the stability of the euro area, and therefore we work on the 5 fronts where action is needed. Tonight we agreed on the objectives and outlined our strategy. In 3 days' time we will conclude. In the meantime, technical preparatory work will take place in different fora, including the Finance Ministers' Council. Let me mention the 5 fronts we are working on in this comprehensive strategy. First, forceful action by all governments to ensure sustainable public finances and enhance growth. This means the full respect of agreed fiscal targets and acceleration of structural reforms. And as I said at the press conference this afternoon, between now and Wednesday, some members of the European Council will have to convince colleagues that their country implements the promised measures fully. 2. A sustainable solution for Greece. We welcome the vote by the Greek Parliament on a new set of measures, as well as the decision by the Eurogroup to disburse the 6th tranche. We are working towards a solution with the private sector to improve sustainability as part of a new programme for Greece. 3. A sufficient firewall against contagion. This means maximising of EFSF resources without extending the guarantees underpinning the European Financial Stability Facility. EFSF instruments will be used more flexibly. Several options are being considered. 4. Restoration of confidence in the European banking sector. I already announced this point after the full European Council of this afternoon. Everybody agrees we need a coordinated scheme to recapitalise the banks and to improve their funding. The agreement of the finance ministers will be finalised in the meeting of the members of the European Council this Wednesday. 5. Better governance and stronger integration of the euro area. In the short term, this implies improving our organisation and strengthening fiscal and economic monitoring. In the medium term, this means stronger economic convergence, more effective enforcement mechanisms, and ultimately deeper fiscal integration. These 5 elements are all interrelated. Both technically and politically, they are part of one single package. Further work is still needed, and that's why we will take the decisions at the follow-up Euro Summit. In a way, I only adjourned this meeting, so see you on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. President Barroso, please.
Thank you very much. So work is in progress and progressing well. As you know, we have made clear that we needed this comprehensive solution. This morning we discussed growth, and now we have discussed in the Euro Area Summit the other 4 most important issues. Greece, we have agreement to disburse the European contribution to the next tranche of financial assistance worth 8 billion. A decisive commitment is now needed from the Greek authorities to see through the fiscal consolidation and structural reforms. and we are working on the second program for Greece that will ensure the long-term sustainability of its economy through a credible mix of public and private sector involvement. Second, we have discussed options for increasing the firepower of the FSF. I'm sure that progress can be confirmed by Wednesday. An ambitious reform of the FSF is needed. It is an essential element in fighting contagion. As you know, the Commission has argued since January this year that the FSF needs to be a more flexible and effective instrument for crisis management. I welcome that this position is now widely shared. Third, we also need to strengthen confidence in our banks so that they can maintain lending to the real economy. We have made good progress to design coordinated measures to ease bank funding and to ensure banks have significantly higher levels of capital. We now need to complete work on necessary backstops before this can be finalized, and we have built, of course, on the good discussions had by our finance ministers. Finally, we had also a very good and interesting discussion on governance, and this I'd like to give you my very personal assessment that it was a very important discussion. One lesson that we can say that the heads of state and government of our member states are now drawing from the recent crisis that we really need to complete our monetary union with the economic union, to have more integration, more discipline, also more convergence. And that was, from a qualitative point of view, I think a very good discussion today. In fact, preparing decisions that I hope will be taken in 72 hours, in fact. We expect those final decisions to be taken in 72 hours. I'm confident those decisions are going to be taken. Thank you.
Thank you. So there is room for some questions. Please identify yourself and to whom you're asking your question. Thank you.
Anton LaGuardia from The Economist. You said that a certain number of Eurozone countries have to make commitments before Wednesday. What happens if they don't make satisfactory commitments? What is the or else?
They will make commitments.
Very short answer.
Yes, Del Re from the Italian newspaper Avvenire. On the same subject, can we translate as regards Italy that you are expecting Mr. Berlusconi coming on Wednesday with maybe an approved plan for growth or something very concrete? Thank you.
Of course, I think the President of the European Council already said it very synthetically but very well. They will make commitments. All the member states need to give clear signals of their commitment. And this is understood by everybody, so I have no doubts. I don't want now to single out one country, but I'm sure that all the member states are committed to ensure fiscal discipline, to ensure fiscal consolidation, to ensure the structural reforms. This is very important for the future of the euro area. And discussion today confirmed very well this spirit, not only in the discussion that we had at 17, but also some bilateral discussions that the President of the European Council and myself we had with different prime ministers, including the Italian Prime Minister.
Mevrouw de Gruyter.
You have mentioned the two or several ways to maximize the firepower of the EFSF. Can you elaborate a little bit?
I make you curious, huh? I make you curious. Huh? No, I will not elaborate on it. Because we defined two models, and we will now go into details to make all this very concrete. But we made the choice on two models. It could even be that we combine the models and that we have a cumulative effect. So the discussion is going on, but in a positive way. And I think here also we made progress. But I invite you on Wednesday to have more details on this.
Okay. Yes. There in the back.
Belga. On the same topic, can you confirm that solutions involving the ECB are now not anymore on the table?
You have a broad range of options where the ECB is involved, fully in charge, and so on. So saying the ECB is not involved in anything, that is too much to say.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Lawrence Norman from Dow Jones Wall Street Journal. A couple of questions. You said you wouldn't name countries, but I'm going to ask you if there are any others than Italy that need to deliver commitments, in particular Belgium. And secondly, can you give any sense of where the talks are with the IIF? Do they accept that a much bigger private sector contribution needs to be made? Can you fill us in on any of that?
Belgium is not mentioned. We are not asking commitments from Belgium. We are already very pleased that they will have a government. And so that's the biggest commitment they can make. We are pretty optimistic.
Regarding the second part of your question, the debt sustainability analysis is a joint product of the European Commission, the IMF and the ECB. So there is absolute agreement, at technical level, absolute agreement regarding the debt sustainability analysis of Greece. That document is part of the compliance report, the debt sustainability analysis.
So a last question for Mr. Spiegel.
Yes, hi, Peter Spiegel from the Financial Times. If I can follow up on the question that you addressed in the earlier press conference, I think actually President Barroso was correct. It was point 12A in the original statement about IMF involvement. There is a call in there for building up resources for the IMF. I think the US and the UK at the G20 were somewhat resistant to that. Do you think that, is this a call for countries outside the Eurozone, namely the US and the UK, to get more involved to help out the Eurozone in its rescue efforts?
You have answered.
No, it is exactly what is written there. It's a call for the reinforcement of resources of the IMF. We believe the IMF has a central role in financial stability, global financial stability. In fact, that is at the very origin of the G20 process. We decided to empower the IMF, and so it makes sense in times of financial instability that the IMF is more equipped with resources, and in that context, it makes sense that the countries that have a surplus, an external surplus, they can make a bigger contribution, yes. But now we are not going to make a precise call for country A or country B. This is the general line that was agreed today in the European Council, so that's 27, including, by the way, Britain. So all these 27 countries agreed that we should have a stronger resource, a stronger contribution to the IMF from the countries that are in a position to do it.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. See you on Wednesday.